Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Sita Rama Lakshmana Hanuman Jayatu. Shri Valmiki Mahamuni Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Welcome back to our continuation of chapter 30 of Kishkindha Kanda, that talks about Sri Ramachandra's sense of separation or his ecstasy of in separation from Sita Devi. What we talked last time was that Ramachandra was sitting on top of Mount Prasavana, seeing the beautiful full moon of Kartika, and he also knows that Sugriva, who he helped recently get his consort back, is now enjoying Sharad Purnima with his consort, while Ramachandra himself is bereft of his consort, and everything around him reminds him of Sita and all the memories associated with those loving exploits with Sita Devi. So starting with text number 4, we hear what happened to Sri Ramachandra, who while sitting on this mountain top and thinking about Sita Devi lost consciousness. He became so overwhelmed by the grief of separation that he lost consciousness. And now, Satu samgyam upagamya muhurtan matiman punaha manastham api vaidehim chintayamasa raghava. But Ramachandra, having regained his senses again, after a while, who is very steady in his mind, Sri Ramachandra, started thinking about Vaidehi, Sita Devi, who of course always remains in his heart, Manastham. She is not there with him physically, but she is always there in his heart. So this verse talks about certain paradoxes. One is Valmiki assures us that Sri Ramachandra is Matiman. Matiman means one whose mind is always alert, or one who is very, very present, one who's of a steady mind. Such a Matiman had lost consciousness, and he came back to his senses out of his agony of separation. So one may think that Sri Ramachandra is any ordinary human being who gets bewildered or sad out of some grief. So ordinary human being is not Matiman. Sri Ramachandra is. However, tu samgyam upagamya, he came back to his senses. And after how much time did he come back? Muhurtat. Muhurtat can mean very quickly he regained his senses, or Muhurta is also understood to be 48 minutes. Since we are talking about ecstasy of separation, in this context we will take Muhurtam to mean 48 minutes. So after almost 48 minutes, Sri Ramachandra regained his consciousness and started thinking about Sita. Chintayam asa, as he was thinking about Sita, who, although is not by his side, the paradox is that she is always in his heart. Manastham api. But she is always in his heart. And then, Asinah parvatasyagre hemadhatu vibhushite sharadam gaganam drashtva jagama manasa priyam. Again, there are some paradoxes here. Seated on the mountain peak, that is decorated with golden minerals, Sri Ramachandra gazed at the autumn sky and travelled to his beloved by his mind. So the paradox is he is seated on the mountaintop, at the same time he is traveling. So he's traveling with his mind, or his heart is traveling to her. And when he looks at this beautiful sky, Sharadam Gaganam, Jagama, he traveled by his heart to meet his beloved Priyam, Manasa, by his heart. And as his mind was going to Sita in a very strong way, Drashtvacha Vimalam Vyoma Gata Vidyut Balahakam Sarasa Arava Sanghushtam Vilalapa Artaya Gira. Looking at this clear sky all around, which was free of any lightning or dense clouds, and which was filled with the cackle of the flocks of sarasa or cranes, Sri Ramachandra cried Vilalapa in a pitiable tone, Artaya Gira. So this fantastic Veera, who in 1.5 muhurtas killed 14,000 demons that Kharadushana Trishiras had brought with them and themselves as well, sitting on this shining mountain peak. It was shining because the full moon light was reflecting off the minerals on the mountain peak, and the whole peak was shining. It was such a romantic situation, and because his consort is not with him, he began to cry in a pitiable tone, Vilalapa Artaya Gira. And in that crying, he is talking to himself. Sarasa Arava Samnadai, Sarasa Arava Samnadini, Ya Ashrame Ramate Bala, Sadhyame Ramate Katham. That innocent young Sita, with a voice resembling the cackling of Sarasa birds, who used to enjoy in our hermitage by calling out to me in those voices of the Sarasa birds. So she would imitate those voices and call Sri Ramachandra. I wonder how she's enjoying this beautiful scenery right now. And as he's thinking about her, he is in severe distress. So the Supreme Lord, Sri Ramachandra, and Sita Devi, his consort, enjoy the ecstasy of separation, as we discussed yesterday, called pravasa, that they are longing desperately to be together. So in Kishkindha Kanda we hear Ramachandra's longing for Sita, and in Sundara Kanda we hear Sita Devi's longing for Sri Ramachandra. So I leave you with this to meditate on and to visualize Sri Ramachandra's agony and ecstasy, but ecstasy in or of agony of separation from Sita Devi. Hare Krishna.